Welcome back to Newsweek, the show where we highlight some of the biggest stories that made the headlines recently. In the course of the week, President Bola Tinubu directed ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to showcase their scorecards to Nigerians in commemoration of his first anniversary in office. While announcing this at a press briefing in Lagos, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said the low-key anniversary celebration will be marked with briefings by the 47 federal ministers. President Tinubu had noted upon assumption of office that retention of office by his ministers would be based on performance, which would be reviewed quarterly. And we know the ministerial sectoral update had been on in the capital city, Abuja. Joining us now to discuss this is Marvin Yubana, political analyst and former Africa representative, World Assembly of Youth. Good to have you on the program, Mr. Yubana.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's begin by getting your thoughts on specific achievements that the ministers have highlighted in their scorecards.
Well, for me, the Minister for Work stands out. Why do I say that? The kind of projects that the Ministry of Works is pursuing, these are ambitious projects that cut across not just a state, but across the region. And you see, taking that coastal roads, the coastal road that is going from Lagos to Calabar is a very significant road, and it will be a landmark project for this Tinubu administration. And the project is ambitious because it's a project that will bring Nigeria up to becoming one of the tourist nations in this in the West Coast here. So I listened to some of the ministers where they talked about the things they are doing, like the Minister for Solid Mineral, talking about that they've gotten the FEC approval to do this, to do that. But we're talking about actuals in terms of what are the projects that will bring a lasting legacy for this administration. That is the kind of thing that Nigerians want to hear. But the Ministry of Youth also did some certain things. They talked about the student loan, the empowerment of young people, entrepreneurs, grants and all that, which is okay, but I have not seen much from these ministers, but especially some of them who claim that they are doing projects, they've been able to fight security. That is not their job. What they should be saying specifically in terms of the portfolio that was given to them, what exactly have you been able to come up with? What are the concrete policies put in place? What partnership? What investment have you been able to attract to that area? Those are the areas we are actually looking at.
All right. We know this government has a mantra of renewed hope agenda. How do these accomplishments so far, highlighted now by these ministers compare to their initial promises or goals when they assumed office?
Well, for me, the renewed hope mantra is something that meant to bring hope back to the people, because the Buhari administration, there was a lot of despair and discouragement. A lot of Nigerians started leaving the country because they actually lost hope. So the renewed hope agenda is something that is good. Like for us in Rivers State, we've keyed into it. But in bringing renewed hope, you must come with specific policies, specific things you are doing that will business as usual. Minister for Works. I've seen that in some of the student loans and some of the incentives that the federal government is trying to put. I see that the financial sector too, where the CBN is struggling, the cost of foreign currency comes down and all that. But these are short-term measures. We need specific things that can lure investors back. The Ministry of Aviation, yes, they are trying to do something to help the local, airlines to strive. But are the foreign airlines keeping to those agreements, international conventions that we have signed? Are they giving the same commiserable attention to the local airlines, the way they give to the international airlines? These are some of the stimulus we need to look at. So in terms of the promises during the election and what we have now, we can say 1 year is too short a time to actually say if it's working or not. But in some areas, there are a lot of gray areas that have not been looked at. In terms of the refineries, that the promises that they were going to work up till now, most of them are not working. The Dangote refinery, there was a lot of noise about it.
Mr. Yobana, we'll get to talk about the refinery, for instance. So I'd like us to leave that, till we get to the next segment. But then talking about the impact of this project on Nigerians that these ministers serve, how impactful would you say, these initiatives have been?
Well, for me, it has been impactful in the sense that the policies of the Tinubu administration has been geared towards ensuring that they stimulate the economy and ensure that they bring hope back to the people. The Ministry of Information has done a lot in trying to highlight what the government is doing, which is good. But in terms of practical terms, because what Nigerians are expecting are results. They want to see food on their table. They want to ensure that the prices of food goes down. For instance, they want to ensure that the farmers who go to the farm wants to be sure that they are safe. They're able to get their crops and come back and sell them. Those who carry their cattle around want to be sure that, yes, they will not be harassed. Those who travel to do business or to trade want to be sure that they will be safe. Their loved ones will come back home. These are the things. They need to be food security. What are the deliberate policies put in place ensuring this food security and the welfare of the people? These are key things we need to look at. And for me, they are trying, but we have not seen that green light yet.
All right, and let's take it to the state level. Which of the governors seems to be doing optimally, in your opinion?
Well, in my own opinion, I don't know about all the governors, but I can say that from what I have seen, let me start from the south, here where I live. I can say that despite political maneuverings and the political ups and downs happening in River State, the River State governors, to me, seems to have stand out because governance in River State actually started in essence in February of this year. There was a lot of political back and front and all that. And when the governor took charge was in February. But I can tell you that there are over 86 projects lined out for flagging off and for commissioning with the state government. Not only that, the investment summit that has just been concluded was an investment summit that attracted investors across Africa and some foreign investors across the Nile. They came over to look at what River State has to do. And like the chairman of the investment summit, he highlighted the potentials we have, that we don't need to look at oil, we don't need to look at any other thing. But within ourselves, we could harness these potentials. And this government had been able to move and ensure that their GDP, internal generated revenue, they raised it above 10 billion from what it was before, in addition to what they had before. Despite all these political maneuvers, I can highlight to you a lot of things that have done up. This government embarked on a gigantic 50.15 kilometers dual carriage road with the slim resources that they have, and despite all the political things going on. They flagged off that road, and the 6 bridges are going up simultaneously. The project is going very fast. They also flagged off the LN1.
Mr. Yobana, obviously you're in River State and you're very familiar with what is going on there. I'd have loved to get your viewpoint on other geopolitical zones, but then I think we'll just have to leave that topic there, and I will take on